right? Yeah, nah. You know, but yo, so I remember so again, it could be environment. Remember, I live where Eric Garner got killed, you know, so it's a certain climate out here, you know. I remember a producer in CHH, who I won't name. He came to see me first time in Staten Island. I pick him up. No lie, we probably was in Staten Island all of 3 minutes before this police interaction. You know, and the cop was driving up. Like we had to cross the street and there's a median and then the other side of the street. So we're about to cross and the cop is driving slow with his lights flashing. So we like in the middle of the street, like, should we run across? Should we wait? So we stop and then he stops. So we just standing there and then he just stops. So I'm like, okay. So we go to cross and then he starts to go. So in my mind, I'm like, this is what they do. Like they provoke situations. So that's why the whole thing of like, oh, it's stressful and well, you're provoking a situation. I don't want to hear about your stress. I don't hear about none of that. You know what I mean? And I cross over to the median. He goes on the intercom through the car, and he said something slipped in me like, yeah, you better keep going. So
you wired a little different. You wired a little.
So I'm there with my Christian hip hop friend and his first visit to my community. So I'm on my best behavior, and I ignored the cop. So I started to walk. He's like, yeah, keep going. Now he's trying to make a show because there was a line of people waiting across the street, right?
Yeah, he's lying, Rick.
Bruh, I could call him right now and confirm this. So
you could call him.
I can call him and confirm this. So he's like, yo, why he's talking to you like that? I said, yo, don't worry about it, man. Let's go. I'm passive. I'm Gandhi right now, you know? So I continue crossing the street. Then he goes, that's what I thought. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to turn around and go back.
Oh.
So I turned around and went back. So I said,
who is that?
You know, so I basically was like, I said, are you serious right now? So he stops, get out. What? You call me an imbecile? That's what he said. I said, imbecile? I don't even use that word. What you talking about?
Imbecile.
So my man's like, yo, Rigz, chill. I said, nah, no Rigz, chill, nothing. You my witness. I ignored the man 3 times.
No Rigz, chill, nothing.
I ignored the man 3 times. I did my due diligence. Now the burden is on him.
3 strikes.
You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's not fair to me that I have to have all this control. I'm a person too, you know what I'm saying? But you don't have to be criticized for the way you're handling a situation. You're being a bully. So then when I challenge you now and I step up to you, you're offended. And I'm wrong. And then I got to be in fear. No, I'm not being in fear. I'm tired of that. You know? So he gets out the car, him and his partner. You call me imbecile? I don't even use that word. What you talking about? So he was like, yo, I'll lock you up right now. I said, then go ahead. So his so my man goes, what did he do? What are you gonna lock him up for? So he looks at his partner. He looks at his partner and goes, we don't need a reason. We could just take him right now. So his partner was like, all right. And then he looked, and I was like, so go ahead. So I'm like this. All right, go ahead. Now, mind you, my cousin was in the Supreme Court case for stop and frisk in New York City. So we know certain high-ranking people in that precinct. So when I said, go ahead, and when your deputy inspector sees my face, you're going to wish you left me alone. He was like, how you know the deputy inspector? I said, don't worry about it, sucker. Lock me up. So he didn't want to lock me up. So he was like, you don't talk to an officer that way, right? He goes, you don't talk to an officer that way. I said, what, you think this is the 60s? You bothered me. Now I talk to you how I want. What, you gonna shoot me? So my man's like, yo, Rigz, I just got here, bro.
Your man's was scared. Your man's was shook.
You know, so long story short, his partner's like, yo, let's go, man, let's go. And only because I mentioned deputy inspector, they was like, yo, let's just get out of here. Because they don't want those type of issues, you know. So they left, and I was like, "Oh, welcome to Staten Island," to my front, right? So these are the types of interactions I have with officers. So when I see things like the video, it's like the man was polite to you, he complied, he did what you asked him to. Then after a while, it's like, all right, bro, like, what are you really trying to do here? And that's why, like, strikes a chord with me, and it's always this mentality of, yo, just bow, just bow, just bow. But then it's like,
I just wanted to tell you something, Riggs. I'm so happy you alive right now.
Praise
I'm glad
he was soft, yo. He was soft.
in the name of the Father.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you something, though, Riggs. The softest people be catching the bodies, though, because they don't know how to control their emotions.
God is sovereign, yo. I be out.
Absolutely.
Reform theology, but no, I did want to
straight up. It is.
Is that you and obviously there are a lot of different factors that play into it, but I think that in New York, right, especially in the city area, I mean, policing is policing all across the country, but I tend to believe that there's an attitude amongst police officers in cities like New York and Chicago that are not exactly the same around the rest of the country. I mean, you can be a cop wherever you are. A person can have an attitude, can be a bully regardless, for sure. But I feel like in big cities and major metropolitan areas, especially, I mean, New York is the hub of the country for everything. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that attitude, like I've never experienced anything like that. And I don't know anybody who's experienced anything. I know people who have been pulled over who might have been harassed by cops, but like that attitude, that's not the norm. You know what I'm saying? And so it sucks that you've had to experience that. But I mean, like, and you already admitted to it, you might be a little bit jaded, and I think rightly so based on those experiences. But it's possible that, you know, when you see a police interaction, there go that mosquito.
Oh, there he go. Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
Tie him up.
Where you
What
at?
is this? What is this? A Jumanji mosquito or something?
Bro.
Oh, this joint was huge.
The original Jumanji too.
I know, man. Like big old joint.
Yo,
like
but even with that said,
breaking through glass.
But with that said, and with all my experiences, I still treat police on an individual basis. You know, I don't approach everyone with that baggage, or when I'm approached, I don't come with that baggage. You know, my brother-in-law is an officer. One of my closest friends is an officer. But truth be told, again, there's a culture behind that blue wall. You know what I mean? They
agree.
You know, and it's like, you know, we talk about the hood and things like that, but like the only time a gun was ever pulled on me was from an officer. Nobody in the street ever put a gun on me. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't move with a lot of trepidation, and there's probably reasons with that. I mean, I got a concealed carry for New York State, which ain't always easy to get, and I'm not always worried about getting pulled over with my pistol on me, which I keep on me 90% of the time. But the neighborhood that I live in, I'm definitely the minority in my neighborhood that I live in, and I've been pulled over 3-4 times, and nearly every time. Well, I would say I think every time I got pulled over within like 2 blocks of my house, 1 to 2 blocks of my house, the cop always finished off by saying, "What you live over here for?"
That
I always find it interesting.
That happened to my coworker, Italian kid. And he was in another neighborhood, and same thing happened to him. They was like, "What you doing over here?" He's like,
"Yeah, exactly.
What you mean? What I'm doing over here?" And they stripped his car and everything. They stripped his car down and locked him up.
Yeah, it didn't happen to me though. That didn't happen to me. That did not happen to me. But you know, I definitely got pulled over for it.
Yo, at the end of the day, everybody ain't you, Riggs. So even you are gonna walk, you know, with carefulness. You just got fed up and you reacted how you reacted. And that's fine. Everyone has their right to their emotions in the moment. But that right there, no person can regulate. So you don't have to tell people how to emotionally feel about the scenario, because that's just going to be natural. The tension of the scenario itself will dictate naturally how whoever feels at that moment. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
But what's the standard? Like, you're going to tell the people how to deal with it. Like, yo, if they coming at you a certain way, pardon me, if they coming at you a certain way, this is how you attempt to handle it. Because you don't have to tell people about how to feel. They're going to feel how they feel regardless. But all I can say is that we're always going to be And unfortunately, being African American heightens it a lot of times because we're policed primarily by individuals who don't live in our communities.
Right.
And they come in with a stereotype. I remember one time I had some Hebrews who was visiting from Baltimore. They came 9 deep because they wanted to come, they wanted to come see the acreage. They wanted to come see the properties. They wanted to know, like, yo, how y'all own all this? You know what I mean? So they wanted to come and meet us and see. And they came to stay with us for 4 days, and we put them up in one of our buildings. And we going to hit the grocery before the Sabbath come in so we could grab some food and just chill. And we in my van at the time, one of my classic hoopty joints. And, all my cars got to be at least 10 years old. If my car under 10 years old, I've done something wrong. So we in the van, and we about 7 deep in the van.
Mm-hmm.
Police officer pulls us over. I guess he see us, all packed in the van in the middle of the summer. Yo, when dude came up on the car, see, I'm looking from afar, and I can see him when he come up on the car. Yo, he was shaking, man. And that's one thing that we can underestimate. Like, all of these dudes ain't tough. Some of these dudes doing their job, they want to go home. And car with 7 African American males in it. Dude shook. Yo, real talk. As I handled my license, man, his hand was doing like this, bro. And so I just talked to him softly and calmly. I'm like, hey, man, how you doing today, man? How long you out here on your shift? I just start talking to him because I perceive that he's very nervous. And so at the end of the day, we have to, that's easy to say, but at the end of the day, that's not reality. So we got to deal in the reality of a human life can be gone. From Tamir Rice to Eric Gardner, that age bracket is all game if it get out of hand. And 90% of the time, 95% of the time, these people unfortunately get off with somehow being justified, and we hate it. So I'm not going to allow my attitude to put me in that situation. If a cop killed me, that nigga just killed me, and it's going to be seen like, he just did me, because if it's on body cam, they're going to say he did not one thing. There was no move from him, nor was there a tone and an aura for him that justified that cop doing that to him. Real talk, bro.
I guess so. My thing is, what's then the follow-up, right? Because the bow and the comply is cool for the moment, but then what? Like, what invokes a change? You know what I'm saying? Does it just end there and you're just happy to go home and tomorrow's another day? Or is there some type of follow-up? Because, come on, like, people get tired, man. People get,
But I would ask.
I think it's about standing up. Okay, don't stand up in the moment. That's why it's fine. But where's the stand up moment?
But I think that's situation by situation. We got to ask, like, what's the stand up? Like Zay was saying, if I get pulled over and the cop is like, yo, what you doing out here in this neighborhood? And I'm like, I live here. And he's like, oh, what's your address? To just ask me off the top of my head, and I tell him my address. And they say, well, where your ID at? And I give him my ID, right? And he roll off. I might feel some kind of way, but I mean, what is there to be done? Like, I could ask you, like, if you go visit your cousin in LA and you walk through the hood and some dudes roll up on you and pressure on y'all, make it out of there. I mean, what's the stand up? Like, sometimes you live to see another day and you keep it moving. Now, if you get like harassed and the cop, beat you up on camera or something like that, you press charges, then that's different. But if it's one of them situations where it's simply a matter of, I feel like this person did me wrong, but it's nothing that I can legally say, you know what I'm saying, that this officer did that infringed upon my rights, then you just got to keep it moving.
But there is a thing, though. They have programs where they try to improve police and community relations. They have these programs in the precincts, you know what I'm saying? So I think it does account for something with how they conduct themselves, whether it's legal or not. You know what I'm saying?
Agree. And I definitely feel you on that. But I mean, unless you're going to call and say, yeah, I want to come down there and volunteer for the community relations program, like, it's just not. Some things, like, in our individual lives, we just ain't going to be able to impact. And it's corny. You know what I'm saying?
Man. That's sad.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot
I don't have a whole lot of hope for that. Those programs, I don't have a whole lot of hope for that just really making any significant dent. But to go back to Zadok's example about going in when you go into a certain hood in Cali or something, or if it's a Piru hood, you're not gonna be like, man, look, it's a free country. I know my rights as an American citizen. I'm gonna wear whatever I want to wear.
I can't lie, I just might do that.
and so I think Ashton made a good. I think Ashton made a good point though that
police situation in that one.
And was still talking. My bad.
Oh no, I'm good. I was just gonna say I think Ashton made a good point in that, man. You get into a situation where some people run up on you and you get out of that. You get out of that scot free. It's like it is what it is. But there is one thing that you can do, and one thing that you can do, you can definitely always get their badge number and complain to their boss.
There was a
afterwards.
There was a video
you
the
can
other
always
day
do that.
about an officer that was being like, he was wilding, and somebody who was recording was like, "Can I have your name and your badge number?" And the cop got mad and said, "You know what? You obstructing justice. Put your hands behind your back." And he's like, "For what? All I do is ask you for your badge." And then they straight up was like, out. They pulled out the taser and it was like, "Listen, put your hands behind your back." For asking for the badge in the name.
At the end of the day, I'm not going to let no man antagonize me unto my death or beating. And all I can tell you is this, is that it is sad. And, for those who don't, I mean, you got 2 Israelites, well, at least 3 professed Israelites in here. See, our mindset come from a certain, because at the end of the day, something we believe is on the people. But if you don't believe that, then what happens is there's got to be some other explanation, and there really isn't one. This is what God said would be on you. He said you would have no assurance of your life, and you would fear day and night. And at noon, you would say, "Man, I can't wait for the night." And in the night, you would say, "Man, I can't wait for the daylight hours to come," because you have no assurance of your life in the land where I have sent you to be captive. And so since that's been in my head for the last over 20 years, I understand that as a people group, there is just a mark upon us. Yeah. And it's not a mark that we gonna take off by good behavior. You had, what's the professor? Y'all know the black dude, he the professor, be doing did all the famous DNA joints with Nas and all of them, and helped them find their ancestry.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about.
When he got pulled over.
Outside his house, right?
Oh, yeah.
He got pulled over. This is a famous African American scholar. Then you had the congressman, African American congressman in South Carolina, get pulled over by a state officer. He was like, "Sir, do you know who I am? I'm Congressman such and such." The cop said, "Yeah, nigger, I know who you are. Give me your ID like I asked for." There is nothing you're going to do, and it makes us mad. So, and that's fine. So since that's the reality, all I can say is this. Sometimes, man, the test is this, man. Like, we find it hard to even do outside of this narrative. We find it hard to do what Jesus said. Jesus said, "Yo, if a man defrauds you, why do you find it difficult to actually take the defrauding? Because I took defrauding on your behalf." So what if you're in a situation where God is testing you? You don't know it. You always think the devil is doing something, but God tests as well. And so all I'm going to tell people is, man, do your best, and prayerfully, if you get too heated because they peeing you off, I pray you can control your emotions enough to get out of that situation unscathed, because at the end of the day, you can die in your pride. You can get beat up and locked up, and then afterward, that cop get found to have been wrong, and they exonerate you and apologize. But now you still heated because you want more than an apology. So the situation is just so evil, man, that I just pray that our people can hold their composure to the best of their ability, because all that's being proven to the people who refuse to believe is that you have no wins. You are not equal. When they see you, you're not considered equal in the grand scale of things. That don't mean every cop you see is going to be a butthole, but in the context of it, man, they was doing the same thing in Jim Crow. Man, you had cats, man. Black men fighting in the Civil War, they coming back to cities, and you got sheriffs, man, who are unarming every black soldier who come back from war with their weapon. And whenever possible, if the situation got too heated where the soldier refused, that was license for them to shoot the soldier and kill him.
Right.
This ain't changed, but everybody, you know, this America, we it's better now for us. But us having this conversation is proving it's not better for us.
Right.
You know, we just can we could just work a few more places, and we could go to malls everybody else go to, and we could go spend our hard-earned money like that. But other than that, I'm honestly not too many. You're not going to find too many posts like this on anyone's YouTube where a whole bunch of our Caucasian brothers and sisters is having this conversation about their experiences. We're having this conversation, and this conversation alone proves a position. No matter what we've done, no matter how far we felt we've come, this is proving something. And I just hope whoever see this and whoever here now, man, pay attention to that.